I didn't expect to spend this much on a monitor, but here we are. I've been editing on a cheap IPS screen for years, and it killed the joy of working on my photography. At 32 inches, most people would prioritize a higher 6K resolution, but I went for a 4K OLED because it solves a very different problem for me. In this video, I will tell you why I picked it and whether I have any regrets. Video and photography can be expensive. Every year I try to make smart upgrades that motivate me to create more. Last year, for instance, I bought a second-hand Mac Studio, and it completely changed how I edit videos. No more lag. No more frustration. It's funny how we just adapt to anything. I've been editing photos on a basic monitor just because it's the one I had. I picked up an entry-level ProArt during the first COVID lockdowns. It was meant for office work, not real photo editing. I started using it as my main monitor when I got the Mac Studio, and I just stuck with it. But getting a better monitor was long overdue, so I started my research. To get the best of Mac OS scaling, they say you need high pixel density. Asus has a 27-inch 5K ProArt for around $850, and since I've been craving more screen real estate for photo and video editing, the new 32-inch 6K model looked like exactly what I needed, even if it was twice the price. But here's the thing, on my last trip I was editing photos on my old Dell XPS OLED, and wow, those deep blacks, the punchy colors. It made editing fun again, since I focus on dramatic portraits, where true blacks make all the difference. That kind of contrast matters more to me than the extra resolution. Coming back to an IPS panel felt flat in comparison. The problem is there is basically no 5K or 6K OLED option, unless you go for some curved gaming monitor, and that's not what I want on my desk. After digging around, I realized that a good option for me was the new 32-inch 4K QD OLED from ProArt. It's clearly targeted at serious content creators who do heavy color grading, HDR, or even game developers. The truth is, I barely do any color grading for my videos, so I'm mainly getting all this horsepower for my photography editing. And honestly, that's enough of a reason for me. At around $1,900, it's actually more expensive than an Apple Studio display, so it wasn't an easy decision. But I spotted a voucher on Amazon Germany and managed to get it for under 1,500 euros. It's hard to judge without seeing it side by side with a 6K panel, but I haven't seen anyone complaining about resolution paired with a Mac Studio, so I went for it. I will leave affiliate links to all products mentioned in the description. Using them helps support the channel at no extra cost to you. The screen comes with a 240Hz refresh rate, and mine even arrived with a gaming mouse. I haven't played video games since I was a teenager, but if you're into gaming, I suppose that's an added bonus for you. Now that I've had it for a few days, let's see how it fits into my workflow and whether I have any regrets. The first time you look at an OLED after years on IPS panels, it feels like a shock. Everything looks oversaturated. But then I pulled up the environmental portraits that I shot 5 years ago, and there it was, the exact look I've been missing. I don't know what you're watching this on, but on my end I'm seeing deep blacks and rich colors. And I can tell you, once you fall in love with real blacks, there's no going back. First thing you need to do with this monitor is update the firmware. It fixes a very annoying issue where the fans kick in for no reason. Most of the time when I'm editing I use noise cancelling headphones, but humming noises still drive me crazy. There are two cables that work with the Mac Studio, the ultra high speed HDMI and the Thunderbolt cable, both included in the box. I've tested them both and they work fine. I somehow managed to fit the old and new screens on my small desk, which is great news because I want to keep the old one as a second screen. I use the free app Monitor Control Lite to adjust brightness from the Mac menu bar, and it's one of these small things that just make life easier. It recognized the new screen right away and now it shows both. There's always this concern with OLED panels that static content will eventually cause burn-in. I changed my wallpaper to black, and my original plan was to keep text on the old screen and use the OLED only for photo and video work. But honestly, not using it as my main screen would just feel wrong. And this monitor has protections built in. For example, it dims itself when it detects you are away. I'm playing with different scaling options, and I think I will settle for something in the middle. It still makes full use of the 4K resolution while keeping menus readable. I'm really happy with the 32-inch. It gives me plenty of space for photo and video editing, and 4K already looks great. I guess 6K is even better, but I'm not even sure I'd notice the difference. On the monitor menu I kept the native preset because it takes full advantage of what the monitor can do. Adobe RGB looks almost the same, and the rest aren't very useful for the kind of work I do. The last time I tried to calibrate an OLED, I completely messed up. This one comes factory calibrated, so I'm not going to pretend I can do a better job. The big question is, do I regret buying this monitor? Anytime you buy professional grade gear, you wonder if you could have made do with something cheaper. And yeah, this might be a bit overkill for me, but I spend a lot of hours editing every week, and I think I can justify the price. The deep blacks and vibrant colors make my work more enjoyable. It's the first time in a while that editing my environmental portraits feels exciting again. I know not everybody has the same priorities, and some people will prefer the higher resolutions of the 5K and 6K models. If you're not in a hurry, you can also wait and see what next year will bring. Maybe a 5K OLED or even an OLED Mac Studio display. I'm not sure my wallet would survive that. Watch this video next if you're curious about my return to photography and the first dramatic portrait I took after a 5-year break.